Look what we just found. I haven't owned one of these in a while. This is a 1995 Yamaha Banshee 350. $3,000 find. I guess it's been sitting in a barn for 18 years. So the guy posted it for $4,000 on Facebook. I offered $3,000 for it. He said, come grab it. I agreed on $3,000. I guess he had like 10 other people coming, so I really couldn't go lower on the price. And you know, it's pretty rough looking, but I think it'll clean up. So plastics are actually pretty decent. No cracks in the plastics. You can see, pretty clean. Rear fenders look good. Not horrible. Has the oversized gas tank on there. Seat cover needs to be replaced. A couple rips here and there. One of the footwell plastics is broken, but that's really the only plastic I could see that had a break in it. Headlights are there. Key is missing, which is a little weird. Air box is missing, so it's got the pod filters on the carbs. Does have the key and carbs on there. Has a cool head, FMF exhaust, and silencer with a spark arrestor. Chain and sprockets don't look too bad. Suspension felt good. I sat on it and rocked around on it, and it felt pretty good. Shock wasn't blown or anything. The VIN checks out. Very clear. 10th digit is an S, which does match up to the 1995. All the controls are up here. Looking good. On, off, all the lights. Brake, master cylinders there. Levers are all working. Clutch is working. Tires all hold air. Rims aren't bent. So overall, it's not horrible. I was looking on eBay and blown up engines go for $2,000, so I don't think we did too bad. Most of these in my area are going for 5, 6, 7, depending on condition. If they're really nice, they go for over 10K. The goal for today is to get this thing up, running, and driving, and ride it for the first time in 18 years. That's the goal. So let's get this thing cleaned up first. It's full of barn dust from sitting for 18 years. And everything needs to be gone through. Alright, it cleaned up pretty good. There was a lot of gunk on there from sitting 18 years, but it's looking pretty clean. Not too bad. A little walk around here. Alright, got this thing in the garage. Let's start working on it. So, take off the seat here quick. You can see underneath the seat, there's supposed to be an air box right here that gets bolted down, so we'll have to buy that. But right now there's pod filters on it. I'm just gonna probably take those off right away. But at least there is something covering the intake. This little spot is for the toolkit. Doesn't have that in there. And you've got the overflow for coolant right there. Yeah, the seat plastic doesn't look too bad, so we can reuse the seat and the foam. Just needs a new seat cover. Alright. There's some gas in there. Tank looks pretty dirty though. Definitely some sand in there. We'll have to clean that out. And we don't have a key, so we're gonna have to try to get this thing to work without the key. Alright, oil's down here. Let's check that. See if there's anything in there. Oh, there's a dipstick. Smells like gas. It's not white though, so coolant isn't mixing with the oil. That's good. Yeah, we're gonna drain that right away. Doesn't look too good. Yeah, it just looks really thin. Let's see if there's any coolant in it. Right here, this plastic can come off. That wasn't even bolted down. Radiator doesn't look too bad. Oh, that's topped off. Looks good. Alright, was not expecting that. So let's get that gas tank off next, and we're going to get to that spark plug. Kinda works. It's gravity fed, so the gas tank needs to be filled up quite a bit for it to even work. But if you put the gas line down far enough, gas did come out. That's what that looks like. I can't tell if that's pre-mixed or not. There's maybe a hint of red in there. Kind of looks like straight gas to me. I don't know, could just be old gas. That is a big gas tank. You can see it says cool head on it right there. Make sure our coil is on there correctly. Got the stock coil, that's good. So we can get these boots off of here and check out these plugs. NGK plugs. BR8ES. See what the carbs look like here. Looks like the manifolds aren't too bad. There might be a small crack developing there, but we'll see. Plug doesn't look too bad. Looks like it was running good at one point. Let's see what the other one looks like. Looks like the throttle cable has seen better days. It's all taped up. The plug looks pretty decent. It's not extremely black. So if anything, it was running rich. Which is better than lean. Now, we're going to be testing spark. Hopefully we can get it to spark here. Alright, turn this thing to on. It's on run. Let's see if it starts. Oh, it has spark. Look at that. It's blue spark. Alright, so it's sparking on the right cylinder. Let's see about the left. Here we go. See what we get. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pretty good spark. Well, that's lucky. We've got spark on both plugs here. All right, next we're gonna do a plug check. Make sure these plugs aren't fouled out. All right, we've got the right plug in there first. You can see that spark 1000 RPM here. Looking good. There's 9,000 RPM. Nice blue consistent spark. Alright, we'll get the second plug in. Alright, go up to 9,000. There we go. Nice blue consistent spark. Looking really good. So both plugs appear to be good. We'll probably throw new ones in there anyway. Alright, so we're going to do a compression check on this thing. Make sure compression is good before we move on. For a stock Banshee, you want around 120 psi per cylinder. Because we have the cool head, we probably want right around 125 pounds compression or above. So we're hoping for over 125. If we have lower, it's probably time for a rebuild. Let's see what we get. Hope you guys can see that. Here we go. So that's pretty good. That's without zero oil down the cylinder. 150. That's really good. So right side checks out. Hopefully left side will be the same. All right, let's get the left side cylinder reading here. See what we get. And here we go, throttle open. See what we get. That is awesome. So we have about 150 psi each cylinder. So they match compression, which is awesome. So compression checks out, spark checks out. Let's try to get these carburetors out without the air box on there. But I I'd prefer the air box. Yeah, there's some water in there from pressure washing it. Alright, there's a crossover tube right there. Carbs. Let's get one of these off. There we go. Here. That one pulled right out. Slide is going up and down. Needle looks good, nice and tight in there. Alright, so that looks good. Here's the carb. So let's work on that one first. Alright, let's take a look at this carb. So right away you can see it's not the stock carb. The stock carb has the choke on the side here, a knob, and there's only one choke. On this carb there's a choke here, and then on the other carb there's a choke as well. On a stock Banshee, those would be connected by one. So that's one difference. Another difference is this is a 35 millimeter carburetor. So to measure the carb, you can see you measure the diameter of the engine side of the carb. And you can see this is going to be right at 35. So these are 35 millimeter carburetors. Typically you don't want to use 35 millimeter on a Banshee unless it's ported. So typically you want to use a 28 millimeter carburetor on a Banshee if it's stock. I believe the stock carburetors that came on it were 26, but you can use a 28 millimeter Keihin carb. They sell separate with a little bit of jetting. This one's a 35, so that's pretty big. So you really shouldn't be using 35s unless the engine's ported, which I have no idea if it is. Maybe it is. It has a cool head on it, so maybe it's ported as well. But we're going to check the jetting, see what that's at, and kind of go from there. This is kind of what we have to work with right now. Let's pour this out. Yeah, there's gas in it. See if there's water in there. Yeah, there's a little water in there. You can see it kind of separate. See that? The color. See what we find here. Yeah, she's gunked up pretty good. Yeah, a bunch of crap in there. To clean that out. So it looks like the main jet is a 160. Get that out right away. And the main jet was clear, it looks like. Let's see what that pilot's at. Pilot is a 40. See if that's clear. That is clogged. Alright. There's an air screw on it, right over here. 1, 2, 2.5 turns out on the air screw. Be a spring in there. Looks good. See if this float will come out. Oh yeah. Float looks good. Needle looks good. Just take out that choke mechanism. And that looks good too. So the carb looks pretty good. It was just a little gunked up from sitting so long, but wasn't too bad. So let's get that blown out, cleaned up, and then go on to the next carb. I got the right side carburetor cleaned out. I think what we're gonna do is keep the jetting that's in there right now, see how it runs, and then jet it from there. Just so we have a baseline to go off of. So right now we've got a 40 pilot and a 160 main in the right side. Let's see what the left side is. So we'll see if it works out here. Let's get this slide out. Alright. Slide was in the right way. And that needle feels good. Yep, it was getting gas. I think we're going to put a filter on this too, after we clean up that gas tank. See if there are any surprises in here. Popped open. Yeah, it's pretty gunked up too. Lots of gunk in there. Looks like water in there too. See what this main jet's at. 160. So at least he was matching up the jets. Get the float out. Float looks good. Needle tip looks good. Pilot. Let's see if that's a 40 in there. Yep. Looks like a 40. See if that was clogged. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was heavily clogged. Here. Carb isn't too bad though. That looks good. Cool. Air screw, last piece. 1, 2, 2.5. So he was consistent when he was doing the jetting. Yep, and the spring is in there. Looks good. So we'll blow that out, clean that up, get those back installed. All right, let's check out these manifolds and the reeds next. Not seeing any cracks that go all the way through. I don't think. No, nothing goes all the way through. So that looks pretty good. Here, there's a gasket on there, that's good. Reeds look really good. Yeah, those look really good. Doesn't look like any porting was done to the intake side. There's the piston. All right, let's check this manifold for cracks. Take a look at the reads on this one. All right, get this off. Manifold looks good. The cracks don't go all the way through. Just some light weathering on the surface here. Nothing too serious. See what the reeds look like. These look good. They look brand new to me. Look at how new those look. See if they're opening. Yep. Yeah, everything looks really, really good. All right, let's get this oil out of here. See what that looks like. I'm hoping the bottom end is fine. And the cranks are good. I have no idea though. It could be bad. So the drain plug is right there. Luckily there's a hole in the skid plate. There we go. Oh, there's a bunch of coolant in there. That is not good. It looks terrible. First a bunch of coolant poured out, then the oil followed. There's a lot in there too. Alright, oil looks pretty bad. See how thin that is? So it smells like gas too. And then if you go like this, there's a couple chunks sitting back down there. Look at those metal chunks. So I'm going to stick a magnet in there and see if those stick. No, not really. Not a ton. And it does shift manually through the gears. So I'm hoping the transmission's fine. Alright, let's get some fresh oil in here. You can see on the case here, it says 1500 milliliters. NW40 wet clutch oil. Dump that in. And about half of this quart goes in. Check our level here. Yep, we're all the way up. Alright, we got a couple new plugs here. Let's get those in. There we go. BR8 ES plug. So I wanted to get new plugs because we're going to do like a plug chop on it. And that will tell us where the jetting's at. Airs too, just in case it fouls one out. And the ones we took off of it were fine too. Those weren't fouled out. So I think we're gonna cut it right here and put the filter right there. That's what I'm thinking. Let's get this line cut and we'll put a filter in there. So here's the filter we got. Let's see, arrow going that way. So I think what we're gonna do is cut it right here. Got a couple clamps for it too. Yeah, that should work. All right, filter's installed. Looking pretty good. All right, mixed up some 40-to-1. Let's get that going. Alright, let's see if we have gas going to the carb here. Turn it to reserve. It's filling up. Cool. It's working. See if the carbs leak. So far, so good. Oh yeah, she fired up. Idle was set a little high, so let's set those idles. There we go. We got idling perfectly now. 1.5 turns on the air screw for each carb. Oh yeah. That sounds really, really good. Alright, we got this thing all back together. It is running flawlessly. Starts up every kick, idles perfectly, nice and low, and it revs out really, really good. So it'll be interesting to see how it rides here. Hopefully it strings out and goes through all the gears good. But before we take it for the first ride, let's hit some of these grease fittings up. Everything looks a little rusty in here. Yeah, there's water in there. You can see it pushing out all the water. Look at all the water coming out. There we go. Get these down here. Forgot how good Banshees sound. Best sounding machine there is, for sure. Sounds so good. Look at that thing. Doesn't get much better than that. Sounds really, really good. Alright, made it out to the land. Gonna take it for the first test drive. We brought the jet kit along just in case. The jetting's a little off. But first ride on the 1995 Yamaha Banshee. So first ride went pretty well. It goes through all the gears, shifts perfect, but it's pretty boggy on the top end. So I think the jets are too big, because usually boggy means it's running rich. So I'm thinking the main jet needs to be switched out from a 160 to like a 150. I think we might go to. I'm thinking that'll help a lot. Alright, we've got a 152 jet here. This is a main jet. So we're going to try that instead of the 160. See what happens. And we'll switch both out. We've got two 152s. If that doesn't work, we'll drop it down a little bit more. Alright, let's just see what happens here. Alright, both main jets are switched out from a 160 to a 152. Let's see how it runs now. we got this thing pretty much dialed in. I think I'm gonna keep the main at 152. It's running great. Starts right up first kick. Super, super fast. So it's running the way it should right now. All right, let's check those plugs. All right, let's take a peek at the spark plugs and make sure those are nice and brown. Let's see, I hope they're not white. Those look pretty good. So these were brand new plugs we put in there. So they're pretty brownish black. And remember, it was really rich to begin with. This one's a little trickier to get to. Let's see. Nice. Brown, black. Perfect. So we are not too lean on the jetting. Alright, when we drained the oil, we saw that some coolant came out. So I'm going to check and make sure we don't have coolant mixing with the oil anymore. Let's check it out. See if that's milky. Nope, super clear. So maybe it was just water in it. But that looks really good. Alright, so this one is running great. It's basically done. So all we have to do is make it look good now. So the plan is to get a new seat cover. I want to get the pipes cleaned up or get new pipes for it. We could also paint those black with high temp paint. Paint the cylinder. Get new chains and sprockets. Get an ignition that's working because the key is missing. Get the new footwell there. And some new tires and paint. And I think this thing will look pretty good. But yeah, it's running great, driving great, and I don't think we did too bad for paying $3,000. I think it was a pretty decent deal. Considering nothing was wrong with it besides the jetting, that's pretty good. That doesn't happen very often. So I was expecting something majorly wrong, like a transmission problem or a top end problem where it was low compression, but things running 150 PSI each cylinder, and 35 millimeter carburetors. They're jetted now properly. So hope you guys enjoyed picking this thing up, getting it running, and then fine tuning it and taking it for the first ride. The Banshees are one of my favorite quads to ride, and they're my favorite sounding quad of all time. Nothing really beats the Banshee. These things are pretty sweet, and they really, really hold their value. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.